Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your June 2019 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. This is normally the video that I do for the sign whose video from the previous month had the most likes, views, and new subscribers, but this month I decided to do it for all the signs. And also, before I forget, if you guys want to book a personal reading with me, follow me on Instagram or donate to the channel. You can check out the description of the video for more info on that. But yeah, so the first thing you might notice compared to the general readings I do is the tarot decks on the table are different. On the left side here, we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side, we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic, and the spread is also different. So I used to do a past, present, future spread for these types of readings, but now I've changed it. I'm doing something that I call the Bridging the Gap spread. It's similar to it, but it's slightly different. But here's the breakdown of how these cards work. So the cards on this side should represent your energy. Cards on the other side should represent their energy. Um, and, by all means, if you feel like when we're going through the spread, if you feel like the cards on this side represent your energy more and this sounds like the other person's energy, then trust that. It is just a general reading. And then what we do after we get through those energies is we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight, help tie everything together, and that's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. All right, so I think I covered everything there, so we'll get started. So on your side, your past energy towards the connection, we have the Five of Arrows and the Seven of Cups. So the first thing that jumped out to me with this, and this is the equivalent of the Five of Swords. So to me, the first thing that came out to me with this was ego battle. So you guys might have gotten into an ego battle in the past. And, if you look, actually in some of the other cards, this character you see here is actually represented as Cupid. So, you see her holding the three arrows, which actually, as opposed to the Five of Swords, the arrows in this deck actually have like the hearts on the end, which could represent Cupid's arrows. So this could just be saying that, you were coming out of ego. Maybe this is someone who made offers to you multiple times and, you, for whatever reason, you were just enjoying collecting those offers, right? You're like watching them put in the work. You're like, oh, this is awesome, just loving it. and and meanwhile, Cupid's like, all right, I'm out of here, man. I ain't hitting you with no more damn arrows. You're not getting the point. that's that's the vibe I'm getting there. And obviously, if we think about the Rider-Waite artwork, you guys just could have been getting into repeated conflicts with the person. And with the Seven of Cups, this could just be saying that you have a lot of options, right? So maybe that's what it was for you. You were, as far as ego in that regard, you're like, oh, I have plenty of options. I don't have to worry about any one particular person. I'm just going to keep getting these love offers. You're just like doing your own thing, enjoying it. But the funny thing is, if we look at the Seven of Cups here, if you look at her face, she doesn't necessarily look happy either. So, and then it looks like there's one specific person that she might have on her mind, right? Because, this faded image there leads me to believe that she had a specific person in mind. So that could have been what it was too. Maybe there was someone, you were getting multiple offers, but you were just turning them down because you had one particular person in mind. But this could also represent, like I said, if this was a conflict you guys had, it could have been that you were even confused about your own feelings, right? This is actually a Scorpio card too, by the way. It represents the last 10 degrees of Scorpio. So if your placement is in those degrees, this might resonate with you more. But this could just be saying, to me, this is like a Neptune energy mixed in with Scorpio energy. So, you could have just had confusion about what your own feelings were, and then maybe that's where the conflicts even came about. If you don't even know how you feel yourself, then it could be tough to communicate it to someone else. But yeah, that's really the first vibe I was getting though, as far as ego. Like maybe you were just enjoying someone making advances towards you, whether it's one person or multiple people, and then it might have just ended up backfiring on you. Because like I said, this almost looks like I said, this would represent Cupid in this deck. It looks like they're like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm done with you and your foolishness. But to be fair to you on this side too, I see some of that same energy. So, and I usually say with the Five of Swords, it's like usually there's no winners anyway, and usually that's those things. If it was a conflict where, you both might have known nothing good was going to come from it, but you still engaged in it anyway. But yeah, on their side, they have the Queen of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. So, I mean, to me, the Queen of Pentacles, first of all, is actually a card that represents Capricorn. So you could be dealing with a Capricorn, certainly. And then the Eight of Swords actually represents Gemini energy as well. So, you know, since this is the past, I don't necessarily think this is going to be talking about when the sun gets in Gemini, because that'll be towards the. Well, no, technically, yeah, it could, duh. Because, I mean, towards the end of May, will actually be in those degrees. So maybe right before the month kicks off, this is the energy that they're in. And to me, the Queen of Pentacles here, this more or less what I see with this particular artwork is I almost get a vibe that they're egotistical too, you know, or at least they're coming from ego here, because I almost look at it like she's looking in the mirror, checking herself out, right? And then she has this dude who looks like kissing her feet, basically. So if you think about that, you know, it's someone who has that high, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? They think highly of themselves, which is great. That's a great quality to have. But here, I feel like it's more coming out of ego. You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, whatever, you know. They might have wanted you to reciprocate like some real crazy high level energy too. So it might have been like a chess game the two of you are playing, where both of you wanted your egos satisfied from the connection, and then it might have ended up backfiring. Because with the Eight of Swords, you know, we think about that energy where in the Rider Waite, it's a person that's, you know, they're tied up and blindfolded and they have eight swords surrounding them, and they could get out of the energy if they wanted to. Like, it looks pretty easy for us to say, oh, they could easily get out of that. But this could just be them trapped in their thoughts. So, you know, this could just say that both of you were looking for ego gratification in the past, and it just didn't work out for either of you. Maybe because you both have those high expectations, or whatever the case may be. But the good thing is, as we move forward, it does look like things get better. So there's that. But I definitely had to laugh at that. It's like both of you guys were coming with that same energy, it looks like, in the past. All right. In the present, we have Two of Cups as your energy towards the connection. So, you know, obviously, this is definitely a positive card. And this actually represents the first 10 degrees of Cancer, too. So, you know, we're not going to get into the first 10 degrees of Cancer until around the 21st of June or so. And then, so this could just represent Mars going into that sign, because Mars is actually in that sign already. So, you know, that could just be saying that that might have given you that energy to decide, all right, you know what, let me just put all this behind us and let's actually work on repairing the connection, right? Maybe that's the vibe that you're in now. And especially with this Two of Cups, what stands out to me, you know, looks like there's a bunch of puddles all around, and you see like the lightning in the background there. So to me, it represents that there could have been some stormy waters between the two of you, right? And the past seems to dictate that as well, that, yeah, there was probably some kind of ego battles going on between the two of you. And maybe now you're both like, all right, you know what, this is getting a little ridiculous. Let's just let all that go and focus on what's important, right? So that's the vibe I'm getting there. And if that is the correct read of the situation, the good thing is for their side too, we have the World card, and we have the Hangman in reverse. So, and if this is representing a timeline too, this could represent when when Neptune goes retrograde. So, since it is in reverse, that makes me think of the Pisces energy going in reverse. And let me see when it is, actually. Give me a second. Yeah, Neptune will actually be in retrograde right when the sun goes into Gemini. So, you know, by the time June hits, it'll already be in that energy. So that could be what that's talking about as well. You know, saying that for them too, they finally got to a place where they're like, okay, you know what? The world represents completion and learning lessons. So to me, this could just be them coming out of that same petty ego energy too, and saying, all right, this is getting a little ridiculous, you know, and then that Hangman in reverse saying that, okay, now, you know, they've looked at things from a different perspective, and they've learned a lesson, basically. That's what I get with these two cards. So this could have just been some growing pains on both their sides where, for whatever reason, it's not the blame game because, like I said, it basically looks like both of you were coming from that energy in the past. So you can't even say, is it your fault? Is it their fault? It looks like you guys were both coming from ego for whatever reason. But now, in the present, it looks like you're approaching it from a much more mature standpoint. So that's definitely a good thing there. All right. And then the future energy brought towards the connection on your end, we have the Prince of Cups. So this actually represents the Knight of Cups energy from the Rider-Waite deck. So this would normally be a card that represents the sign of Pisces. So that could just be saying that that's the energy you're bringing to the connection, which, Pisces is your fifth house. So the fifth house is about romance and dating. So this could just be saying that you're coming from a more loving place toward them. Could just also say that this is you making an advance towards them, making a love offer to them. But I just feel like it's probably more of the energy you're going to be approaching the connection with moving forward, after the present, where it seems like the two of you both realized, okay, this ego stuff isn't getting us anywhere, and actually trying to take action to fix things. And at the bottom of the deck for you too, we have the Three of Staves. So, this isn't necessarily an ego energy, but this is kind of that energy for waiting for your ships to come in. So that could have been what it was too. You guys might have had a falling out because you were both playing ego games, and then maybe you're like, well, whatever, I'm going to wait for them to come back to me, right? So could just be saying that you're coming out of that energy now and actually moving toward them. And, maybe it was that full moon in your sign that made you guys realize, something or another about yourselves that made you say, all right, maybe I need to really, reevaluate how I approach the situation. And again, like I said, trust me, it looks like they had their own fault in it too, and looks like for whatever reason they seem to be learning from that as well. So that's definitely a positive for both of you guys to approach this in a more mature manner moving forward. All right, and then the future energy on their side, we have the High Priestess, and we have the Knave of Pentacles. So to me, with these two cards together, the High Priestess just to me represents more of that intuitive energy. Like I was saying, sometimes when Neptune is going forward, it could actually cause more deception than it does when it's in retrograde. So, maybe, again, this points to with that Hangman and reverse energy in the present for them, that could just be saying that, okay, now they finally learned their lessons and now they're more in touch with their intuitive side as well. This is definitely not an egotistical type of energy, the High Priestess. So this could just be, again, pointing to the fact that, all right, they learned their lesson. They're not trying to repeat that same cycle with you again, right? Of, oh, let's get into petty, who's doing this and who's doing that, why they're doing it. Oh, I'm going to let them do this. I'm going to let them do that. And then the Knave of Pentacles energy is the Page of Pentacles. So, that could just represent them trying to offer something stable between the two of you. Like, all right, now that we're finally over this ridiculous back and forth chess game that we're playing, why don't we actually work towards building something a little more stable? So definitely seems like a pretty positive thing overall. Like I said, it seems like you were both in the same place in the past, and for better or worse, right? Because it definitely seemed like it wasn't working out too well for you in the past. But the good thing is you also seem to be on the same page in the present and then moving forward, which could mean progress. And then the card on the bottom on their side is actually the Seven of Wands. So, the Seven of Wands, to me, that represents putting up a fight, basically, but, in a positive way. Again, not that five of wands or five of arrows type energy, but more of like, actually standing up for what you want. So, this could just be saying them putting in the effort with you. But yeah, overall, this is definitely a pretty good card to have. And this card represents the last 10 degrees of Leo for what it's worth. So maybe that's who you're dealing with, or, Could just represent a timeline for some of you, but I doubt that's the case. There's nothing really going on in Leo and hasn't really been for a while now. So more than likely, this could just be saying the energy at play, or could possibly be a placement that they have in their chart as well. All right, and before we wrap up, what I'll do now is I'll actually see if we have any extra messages that come up with the Oracle decks. So the first one I'm going to try to pull a couple of cards from is the Mystic Moon Oracle deck that I have here. And basically what I'm going to do with these, I did pre-shuffle them ahead of time before the reading, but now we'll just see if any messages come out as far as unspoken messages from you towards them, and then we'll do the same for them toward you after that. And what I do with this deck is if nothing really jumps out at me after I'm shuffling for a bit, we'll just say, all right, there's nothing to add, but we'll see. I'll usually give it at least a minute or so of shuffling to see if anything pops up. So like I said, the first thing we'll see is if there's any unspoken messages from you toward them. I mean, like I said, the main vibe I'm getting is that the two of you just had some growing up to do. And it looks like you did achieve that. Almost had something come up there. Alright, nothing seems to be coming up there, and then I'll try to see if anything comes up from them toward you now. So any unspoken messages that they might have had for you. And if nothing comes up there, no big deal there either. Like I said, we have one more Oracle deck to look at for any additional messages. But the good thing is this one seems kind of a straightforward reading anyway, so I don't think there's going to be any cliffhanger with this particular spread, which is cool. Did the air sign ones yesterday. Those were pretty wild. I don't know what was going on with the air signs. So far, you're the second water sign I've done. Definitely seems like you guys are a little better off. Oh, there we go. Gotta find it now. Okay. So, the message from them to you is, my heart is telling me just do it. So definitely seems to fit the theme, and honestly this could have easily been a card that either of you could have gotten as far as unspoken messages. So again, like I said, the vibe I get here is definitely you were coming out of some ego, or at the very least you were just confused about what was going on in your own head, but you weren't communicating it, and then that might have led to a conflict. But for them, like I said, definitely got ego vibes, which is normally not a vibe that you get with a Queen of Pentacles. But like I said, the artwork here, the way it looks like she's looking in the mirror and, not even paying attention to the guy over there and just like, yeah, whatever, kiss my feet, right? And then the Eight of Swords energy, which is, again, not wanting to look at something too in a certain way. So, and this could have even been, their energy, whether this was actually, whether this energy on this side is meant to represent masculine or feminine energy, just looking at the artwork, I just picture this like her being like, yeah, whatever, I don't even need you, I could get the next person, right? Because, this looks like a different person there, so, she's just like, whatever, man. Like, not even valuing the connection necessarily. And then as we move into the present with the World card, and the Hangman in reverse, like I said, to me that represents that they've learned a lesson in some way too. So this could just be saying that, in a way, like I said, this definitely looks like energy you both could have been embodying in the past, and now you're just like, you know what, let's get over this ridiculous petty back and forth stuff and let's actually make something happen, right? So fitting that is the one card that came out, because it could have easily gone for either of you, but like I said, we'll take that as that's their unspoken message toward you. All right, and then the last card I'm going to pull is from, this is actually one of the Oracle decks I use in the general readings as well, the Wisdom of the Oracle. So we'll try to pull a card from this too, see if there's any additional messages for this reading. Seems like a pretty good one overall, though. All right. And same with this one, if I feel like I'm shuffling forever and nothing's coming up, then I'll just take that as a sign. It's rare that it happens with this deck especially, but can't rule out that it could happen. And you guys probably don't want to just look at the screen forever while I'm shuffling, so. Oh, there we go, we got one. Okay, Serendipity. So, I've gotten that card a couple times before, but I really don't remember what it's going to be about. But yeah, just to get a little closer look at the artwork. And it's number 18. All right, let's see what it says. It says, essential meanings: opportunity allied with readiness, the awareness of synchronicity, luck and good fortune appearing as signs and symbols, a magical alignment of events. The Oracle's message: you've stepped into alignment with the greater good, where your dreams and the collective dream resonate in exquisite harmony. Now is the time for luck and preparation to meet and create miracles that you could never have planned all by yourself. Keep in mind that you are a channel for providence right now, as a higher energy uses you as a force on behalf of the whole world. Your fortune becomes everyone's fortune. Everything you bring into being now will leave a wondrous legacy for others in the future. Your service to the world is being supported at this time. Expect the unexpected, and smile, for Spirit loves you very much. So you stepped into alignment with the greater good. Again, the funny thing there to me is it sounds like that this is a message that could apply to both of you as well, because, like I said, it seemed like you both are playing ego games in some way, shape, or form in the past, and it seems like you're moving out of that in the present and in the future. So maybe that's what this is pointing to. Either way, it sounds like they were pumping you up pretty good there. So maybe that might bring that ego energy back out of you again, right? I don't know. All right. The relationship message says, Spirit has a plan, and that plan is to place you in front of the right person at the right time. You have met or are about to meet someone vitally important to your journey, someone Spirit wants to bring into your life. Only divine forces can plan this meeting. It is out of your hands. Pay attention to the signs Spirit presents. So that was an interesting one there. I mean, could it be possible that this was an old connection and this is a new connection? That actually wasn't even something that I thought of going into it, but that could certainly be a possibility as well. Or this could just be saying the way that you're seeing each other now. Like I said, after going through your growing pains, maybe now you're actually both valuing each other and like, okay, it's time for us to put that foolishness to an end and actually, approach this from a more mature angle. So. And as far as it said there with signs, so if you feel like, if you see a sign or you get this feeling or an urge to reach out to them, then probably trust that too. But yeah, we'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll talk to you all next month. All right, bye.